Hi, well, today I just wanted to do a quick video, which is a bit different. It's still about writing. It's more based in the musical world, and essentially it involves things that I really like from my youth and still do really, but I'm not such a big kind of purchaser of music anymore. But when I was a kid, I was proper into it and spent 20 odd years trying to crack it in a band, as it were, and all that sort of stuff. Um, sort of varying levels of success and failure. But I still think about it quite a lot, and I listen to it a lot when I'm working and writing and stuff. And one of the main bands that's always been there and stuck with me for all this time is definitely the amazing Iron Maiden, the premier heavy metal act in the world, or heavy rock act in the world. And probably one of the finest things the UK's ever produced, and it's produced a lot of good stuff, but that is definitely one of its best moments, was when Iron Maiden were released on a major record label and took over the world in the ensuing decade. But this is particularly about one of their albums, my favourite album, probably my favourite album of all time in terms of metal anyway, and that's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, because it's a concept album. It's probably the only concept album they did. I love concept albums because the way the music industry's gone and the way that music is now consumed, you just don't have concept albums anymore. Prog bands like Rush or Yes, or in the 70s, people were doing it all the time. The thing is with concept albums is a lot of the time the stories don't really make sense and the songs are kind of disparate. It's sort of like you have to sort of the best ones you can sort of make the story in your head and you can tell yourself the story. Well, that's what I like to do anyway. That's probably just me. I'm going to kind of share that with you in my dissemination now of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. So be prepared to be scared, because it's a really scary Halloweeny sort of thing. You probably want to maybe make yourself a cup of tea or something just to get prepared for this scariness of what I'm about to reveal. First thing I just want to say is there's another album that I really love that comes close up to this in terms of the best concept albums about the devil or anything really, and that is of course Antichrist Superstar by Marilyn Manson, which is even scarier than this. And I used to listen to that. I used to turn all the lights out and put on my headphones, or maybe not if I was being particularly rebellious, and shove it up in the stereo, have something to help the vibe, and in the darkness, and just sit there hanging upside down on the sofa or on my bed listening to Antichrist Superstar and this one as well, and kind of imagining the story. I've always been into his musical theatre, and I always had this crazy idea. Imagine like they made a stage show of Antichrist Superstar, or even better, a film of Antichrist Superstar. And that's how I sort of saw it in my head. And one day I'm going to have to make a video about that because it's such a cool story. This is even better. I love the Seventh Son, and the whole world that Maiden create. What it is it's the world of Maiden is like a cartoon world. It's like a sort of 80s cartoon. The 80s was such a cool time when you were a kid. It was just like so many cool things, so many cool comics, like 2000 AD, and you didn't have the internet. It was kind of like Stranger Things but better. All the time when you were a kid in the 80s. And one of my great experiences is when I was 13, I think, and I decided for whatever reason I was proper going to go for it when it came to metal. I discovered like my dad's AC/DC album, and a couple other things he had knocking about, a compilation album called Axe Attack, and it had like Maiden, AC/DC, Aerosmith, everyone you can think of, Judas Priest, and that just like cemented my love of metal. There was one weekend when I was 13, I was like, I'm going into town, I'm going into Milton Keynes, I'm going to R Price, which was still there, I think, and they used to have like racks of vinyl and tapes. His CDs were out, but they were still like vinyl and tapes. Like, and if you're like me, you were like, I'm going to go and buy vinyl. And like every album I bought, I just played on record, just Skid Row, whatever. It was an amazing time. Even like I remember Use Your Illusion coming out, and my mum buying it for me and my brother, like buying a copy of each one. When we were at school, and she was working in London, and she came back with him that day, and we just played it to death. And I think my brother was 1 and I was 2, and we were like swapping around. But anyway, like, that first best memory I have is this first weekend. I was like, I'm gonna go and buy Well, first of all, I'm going to buy Back in Black. I wanted an Highway to Hell, an AC/DC. I was mad on AC/DC, and I went into our price and I had the Iron Maiden section. And this is probably about 1990. I'm pretty sure No Prayer for Dying had just come out, or it was out, or I think that was the last album that had been out. Anyway, that was the main album, and the latest Maiden album, but the one before that was Seventh Son. I'm pretty sure of that, I could be wrong. And so it's still quite prominent, and as soon as I saw that cover, I was like, I am having that album immediately. So I bought that album. I love the title, and I love the cover, the cartoon Eddie, the cartoonness of it all. I'm having that album, and I'm having this one, and the other one was Iron Maiden. The first album with Paul Di'Anno singing. I'd learned my history of Maiden. I don't know, they'd had two singers. I was like, this Bruce Dickinson is pretty good, because I think the only Maiden I'd really heard was on my dad's Axe Attack album. They had like Running Free, and I thought Paul Di'Anno, that's a cool name for a singer. When I saw it as Bruce Dickinson, I think he was in the public consciousness, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, that makes sense, it's Bruce Dickinson. So I went back on, I put the first album on. It's brilliant, I mean, it's amazing, it's fantastic. It's got Phantom of the Opera on it, which when I was growing up was made amazingly famous by Davy Thompson, advertising Lucasade and doing the hurdles. As soon as I heard that on the album, ding 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 ding, I was like, oh my god, that's them. And wanted to try and learn it and become really good on guitar, all that sort of stuff. Then I put on Seventh Son, and Seventh Son just like totally blew me away. And ever since, I've listened to it thousands of times, but mainly for the purpose of this video, I've basically formed the perfect story, because it's important to note here that Bruce Dickinson said at the time or later that though it was a concept album, they never quite nailed the concept down, so it was more like good and evil, some battle of good and evil, but he was like, well, what Maiden album isn't that? So he was always kind of disappointed they didn't nail this concept down. So, you know, I'm sure Bruce Dickinson isn't watching this, but if you are, Bruce, this is it, this is for you, I've nailed this story for you 100%, and you know, you're going to love it. And it goes the same with like Steve Harris, Dave, Nico, Brain, or Adrian Smith, because they're all vitally important to this album. I really wished I could play the music in the background, but I don't know if I can do that, because I was in a band once, we tried to do it, we did a Guns N' Roses cover and tried to license that, and it cost about 30 grand, about 7 days or something. But so I'm probably not going to go down that route, but you know, maybe if, you know, Steve Harris or someone's watching this, you can, you know, sort me out permission, I could play the whole album and behind it as I talk, and that would be brilliant. But, you know, as it goes, I'm just going to have to, like, trust that you've got it there with you, or you've got it on your phone or something, and you can, like, listen to it and go, okay, I see. So the first thing to do is start at the beginning. And so the first thing that we do is we get the intro, the 7 Deadly Sins. 7 Deadly Sins bit with Bruce. As far as our concept goes, that is essentially just a little intro. It doesn't really mean much, but what you've got to imagine now is it's a really dark, stormy night, and there is a child being born, the Moon Child. Now, if you know the album, you'll know that what happens is the intro stops, and then he just kicks in with this mighty keyboard riff. It's like the Terminator crossed with every Van Damme film, every bit of 80s coolness. This riff is immense. It's like, if it's not that Maiden, it's like probably the first time I've heard Maiden use actual synth and not guitar synth. So immediately it throws you off guard, but it's such a cool riff, and especially with the guitars changing chord behind it. Moonchild. So what we've got here is our first main character. We're going to call him Young Bruce, and he's not the Antichrist. He's just a very, very, very naughty boy, and that kind of sums his story up. So what happens is he is the 7th son, but maybe he's not the 7th son of the 7th son. See where I'm going? He's the 7th son. He's born, but when he's born, there's something with this child. He is Moonchild. He's like, the storms are cracking outside. The devil has come, unknown to the people who are there, but to us in the story is related in the cartoon world of Iron Maiden land, where Eddie is like the devil, and the devil can kind of come and go. You know, it's a very fluid world, Iron Maiden world. And what happens is the devil, you know, sort of Eddie type devil thing, he's there watching his child. He's come to claim the child because he knows the future of what this child is going to bring. Essentially, this child is here to bring down the end of mankind and humanity, and to usher in a new age of evil, given by the son of the devil, the actual mystical son of the devil. Now, young Bruce, he's born a crying child, and basically the devil is fighting with the angels. I think this is all in the song to claim this child. Basically, he wants this child, but where he kind of, for the sake of the story, he knows the future. There's something he wants from this child, but it's not his soul. But he says, if you try to stop this from happening, then I'll take his soul now and just do it. It doesn't bother me. I can have his soul, but I want you to leave him. He's the moon child. I want you to leave him. This mystical young Bruce, because he's vital for my plans, my satanic, devil-ridden plans for Iron Maiden land, and what is going to happen in the future due to this birth of the moon child, which is covered in this awesome riff song. Moonchild goes on, and here I think it's important to stress about this concept album that it's like a musical. A lot of these things it's like a musical. So the instruments speak and the people speak, the characters speak, but the music is speaking as well. Like each guitar here is like a voice. It's like when there's the guitar solos, like Smith and Murray, they're like, one's a devil, one's an angel. They're like battling each other. And also Nico McBrain is just like a machine on this album. Like if you could take all the other instruments out this album and just listen to Nico McBrain's drumming, it would melt your mind, and you wouldn't ever be able to recover from it. And that's why they don't do that. Essentially, for safety, for your own safety, only ever do this whilst never isolate Nico McBrain's drumming, because it's just too good for humanity to really understand. But when it's listened to in context with particularly this album, just give it a listen and go, oh my god, he's such a good drummer, because he is. Anyway, Moonchild ends and we go into Infinite Dreams, which is what's next. So Infinite Dreams is the second track on the album, and it's another awesome track. There's some amazing musicianship, but for the sake of the story, what's important here is young Bruce he's a child, he's like 12 maybe, and he's feeling stuff, but he's tormented by these dreams, these visions of the future. He's not a clairvoyant, he's not the seventh son, he's not the Antichrist, like I said earlier, but he's got reasons for that, because he's toiling with these visions of the future, of horrible visions of the end of the world, the end of humanity, of people dying, of places melting, of fireballs in the sky. This is Iron Maiden land, so it's like like the devil running the whole place, like a slave, making slaves of humanity. You've probably got Eddie, like Eddie Devil, sort of sat on this throne, just like casting down bolts and plagues, and just, it's a nightmare for humanity. And like young Bruce, he knows he's special, but he also knows he's at least mostly human. So he's worried about this, and he can't sleep, and he's having these endless dreams, infinite like waking dreams that just torment his youth. So basically, what happens to young Bruce is pretty tragic. It's like what happens to a lot of young kids that have problems being brought up, and that is he goes off the rails. He's just like in his Iron Maiden land, on the mountains, all nice and stuff, but down in the valleys where the villages are, where he lives, in the towns, he's sort of going around chasing maidens and getting his end away, and just taking strange mushrooms and things, and having a bit of a weird one in Iron Maiden land. And he's using his fame. He can do tricks. He's got powers that other humans don't have. And he thinks he is something really special. He can feel it. He's like, I'm the special one. He's Jose Mourinho. He is the special one. He can do simple stuff which he uses to impress girls. And he's getting laid. He's only probably like 13. He's already had about 2 kids. Let's say he's had 2. It's important, this actually. So we'll say he's had 2 kids for this to work. By the time he gets to the best song on the album for me, I love this song, which is "Can I Play With Madness," which is an amazing single from the album, and one of Maiden's biggest hits in the UK and probably beyond. Just a great song, because it's just got every sensibility. It's got like pop sensibilities, metal sensibilities, rock sensibilities. It's perfect. It's got Bruce going with like some amazing like soulful singing and some really cool lyrics. And in terms of our story, what this means is Can I Play Man? This is like an integral part to the story, because young Bruce is like, he's about 17 now, he's feeling like a man, and he's ridiculed, he's kind of isolated by the local community, everyone thinks he's a bit of a freak, they're staying away from him now. He's probably had four children by now, should we say? So he's spread his seed quite far and wide, and he's kind of forgotten his visions of being a child. When he was a child, he had these visions. He's kind of forgotten it all, and he's going on a hedonistic one. He's challenged himself about this and why, what's going on. Like, where's his power? When's his real power to like take over the world and rule mankind actually going to come? So what he does is he seeks out a sort of wise man, essentially, like a magician, and someone else who's a bit like young Bruce. He's not the chosen one, but he's like got these Iron Maiden worldy sort of powers that sometimes you get, right? But anyway, so this is like Bruce has to go into the mountains that you see on the cover, and in the cartoon world he has to go across all this sort of stuff, and eventually he finds he tracks down the old man. He's like, this is the man I've been looking for. He says, like, do a reading on me, like, what can you see? I need to know, what am I, where's my future going? And to his horror, the old man just laughs at him and says, you're nothing, you can't feel anything, you can't get anything from this kid. He's like, you're a joke, you're a charlatan, so just go and never come back, young Bruce. I don't want to hear from you or see from you. You're not clairvoyant, you're not the chosen one, and you're definitely not the Antichrist. This great power that we keep hearing about, it's not there. And so the old man laughs at him, as was told in the song. Bruce is pretty pissed off about this. So he goes off, and he goes off on a wild one, which brings us into our next song. So the next song, of course, is The Evil That Men Do. Again, one of Iron Maiden's finest moments, I think, if you're a Maiden fan. Even if not, you'll agree. This is a fantastic song, great riffs, amazing singing, brilliant lyrics, just brilliant musicianship all round, from a fantastic band at the top of their game, because that's what this is basically. So anyway, yeah, so The Evil That Men Do. So young Bruce is so pissed off by what he's heard from the old man, the prophet, who said to him, no, you're nothing. He stares into his crystal ball, and there's nothing. He looks at him and laughs. That's how, nothing. And young Bruce just goes off the rails. He's like, right, well, screw you then, basically. I'm going to go and spread my seed. I'm going to cause havoc. I'm going to use my powers, and I'm just going to just screw with people, because I'm sick of this. I'm supposed to be the chosen one. This old man's laughing at me. People down in the village, the whole of Iron Maiden world thinks I'm a bit of a dick. Basically, even Paul Diano, who lives in this village, he's fucking laughing at me. Young Bruce is not happy at all about this. And he's feeling the evil flowing through him, and his evil powers, and he's manipulating girls, and he's getting them pregnant, and he's had 6 children now. So he's had 6 children, and then a strange thing happens to young Bruce in all of this, in his sort of mid-20s. He falls in love. He meets one of these girls. It never really specifies too much about it, because this is a different story for young Bruce, but he falls in love with her, and he gets her pregnant, which will be his 7th son. And he can't take it. He's like, he doesn't even realise about the 7th son thing at this time. He's just like, pray for me, I'm going, I need to leave, I can't be with you anymore, I'm going to ruin your life, I'm going to ruin the life of everyone around you, I've got to go. And that's what he does, and even when that's what he's saying. And so he leaves the village, and he probably even leaves Iron Maiden world. He probably gets on a boat, and he travels to sort of across the ocean to Def Leppard land, where they're all they've got cool hair, and they're drinking Budweiser, and they don't even have a kind of fantasy stuff going on. They're not really talking about important things, what's going on over there in Iron Maiden land, all this really dark stuff basically at the end of side 1, because if you're like me, you bought the album, that was the end of side 1 there. So we flipped the vinyl over, we put it on to side 2. So this song is the title track of the album, and another amazing moment in Maiden's back catalogue, and that is the title track, 7th Son of 7th Son, which is probably the most prog rock track on this entire album. It's prog rock brilliance, 80s prog rock brilliance from start to finish. Again, amazing musicianship. And as far as the story goes, this is the birth of the seventh son. This is young Brucey's seventh son with this girl he fell in love with, unnamed girl that he fell in love with. And he left pregnant and in trouble because he's young Bruce, he didn't give a shit, and he's using his powers for darkness, blah blah blah. This girl gives birth to his seventh son, and when you think about it, that makes this son the actual seventh son of a seventh son. So he's born, and all his brothers gather around, everyone, the sky is cracking with lightning again, and the devil's come down because his plan is like wicked. So she's named young seventh son Eddie, young Eddie, and the devil's come down, the angels are battling. This is all in Bruce's lyrics, and you got the guitars just fighting off each other, and once again, angels, demons fighting for possession of the seventh son. But it's just too late, seventh son and seventh son. He's got strong powers, and the devil's claimed him all the way back in Moonchild, remember? He claimed him then, so there's no, they've got no chance. Like, young Eddie is fully in the devil's clutches because, as it turns out, the seventh son is the Antichrist. He is the Antichrist. He's come to the Iron Maiden world to end it, humanity, and really no one can stop him. Well, so as the next song proves, there may be one person that can help. Well, of course, there's young Bruce. Right? He's got powers. He knows what's coming, and as this song explains the prophecy, that Bruce he feels it. He knows his son is here. He's got this power. He kind of feels that he's been claimed by the evil forces, and you know, now he's growing up. His son has come of age. We're talking 10, 15 years later now. So Bruce, you know, he's in his late 30s, and he knows that he's got to step up now. And he goes back and he sort of implores the people, the local populace, to stand up and listen to him. And why didn't they listen to him? And why are they entertaining this well, this monstrosity of Eddie, the chosen one, the evil one? And so they're like, you know, it's too late, basically. Look at him. So in the Iron Maiden world, like Bruce, he looks up and he sees like Eddie's tower with Eddie in it, and there's all these lights flashing in it. It's what's going on? So he's got to go and confront him. So young Bruce has to travel up the mountainside into this tower, up to the tower. He's got to knock on the door. He's got to pull the chain, which plays like number the Bruce did. It's like a ringtone thing, and then it opens like that, and he's got to go in, and this is where we get the clairvoyant, which as a kid, as a bass player, I spent hours learning this bass line, as I did many of Steve Harris's amazing bass lines. This has got to be one of his best. And this is a song of the battle between them, when he can feel the power, and they're like battling, and the clairvoyant young Eddie's like, you're no match for me. You know, it's all over, son. I mean, at this point, because I'm making this story up, I always waver whether to go the goodie wins or the baddie wins, but I always end up with Eddie wins, which is the last song, Only the Good Die Young, which basically describes the aftermath of Eddie defeating young Bruce in the clairvoyant. And clairvoyant is, to go back to that, because it's one of the best songs on the album, is just the story of his power growing, how he's using his power, and he can see everything at once. And he uses his undead army onto the world, into Only the Good Die Young, and it's kind of self-explanatory, do you know what I mean? Like, only the good is just gone from the world. It's all, even the burgeoning good in people is extinguished by evil Eddie's satanic undead army, which now rules Iron Maiden world until at least, well, I don't know if they ever made an album to salvage the Maiden world. After this, all kinds of bad stuff happened. Bruce left, Blaze Bayley had an accident, all their albums sucked for about 10 years, and they're coming back now, so you know. But anyway, I'm running out of power badly on my phone now, so that's why I'm rushing this to get this done. But I hope you enjoyed my little story there of Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. I love doing this with concept albums. A lot of them don't really make sense, the music ones, so yeah, you know, I hope you enjoyed this. Check out my videos, subscribe. I've hardly got any subscribers. I haven't really been trying, to be honest, so subscribe, spread the word, watch my other videos, check out my website, read my books, and I'll see you on the next one, when I'm actually doing one now about Star Wars, which is pretty cool, so keep an eye on that, and thanks for watching, and take care, and goodbye.